Roblox, one of the biggest games on the planet and the host to millions of completely forgotten, abandoned, and dead worlds. Now, I'm a pretty old school Roblox gamer, starting way back in 2010. Although once Minecraft hit the scene, I was pretty much full steam ahead on that. Hey, all this guy does is play baby games. Now, just hold on there, Buster. Let me be clear that this is not a video for little kids. It's for top, tough men. This is, without a doubt, the single most requested video I've ever had. Comments, messages, emails, carrier pigeons, just about anywhere I can be reached, I've been asked to do a Roblox video. Let's get started. I entered into the wide world of Roblox by throwing together a new iconic look using my old items, which were all very early 2010s. Epic faces, Smash Brawl, and old-ass memes. The blood JPEG really ties the whole thing together. Before finding dead games, I had to look at the front page to see what today's youth are playing. Lots of AI thumbnails, as well as some pretty freaky games which were listed as being ages 5 and up. This is an outrageous combo. It was during my silly little search that I found out about an upcoming mass restriction event in just a few weeks, which was going to fully close any game without a content maturity label. This means that basically anything which hasn't been updated since 2015 or so will become completely unplayable. Now, they plan on slowly bringing back games after manual reviews, but there are so many games on Roblox that this could take years. And for any games with under 1,000 visits, this change is permanent, unless they're given an age rating manually. This was likely the last chance I'd ever get to visit some of these worlds. Oh, and this has already happened. So, if you're scrambling to log into your old Roblox account, it's too late. It is actually a crazy coincidence I made this video when I did, because I swear, I had no idea this was happening beforehand. Run. This is an old one by a fella named Heroes. I guess it was kind of like Pac-Man, but you're the ghosts. And Pac-Man can eat the level and multiply himself with this newly gained mass. This is one of the first games I ever played on the site, and it's even where I got my very first badge. Heroes was actually hacked years and years ago, but the game is still up, technically. It remains as a stock Roblox house floating in an empty void forever. Luckily, there's like 1,000 clones of this, and I think Run itself was basically a clone of another game called Survive the Spheres. Since the original was gone, I tried a fixed version of Run. It was looking solid, pretty much exactly how I remembered things, but the sphere instantly phased through the floor and died every single time. So it was basically unplayable. It also had a big sign with "In Memory of Heroes" on it, which it makes it seem like the guy died for real. I hopped into a modern one which was updated this year. It had nobody on and like 11,000 total visits, but it seemed decent. It even had random midis of Weezer and Linkin Park, as well as the lowest quality rip they could possibly find of the Fire Emblem theme. Holy shit. Got it! Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be caramel dancing, which means this is an inaccurate recreation of a 2010 Roblox game. Gameplay-wise, this one was pretty much exactly as I described earlier. The spheres chase you around the map, eating everything in sight, and multiply once they've eaten enough. Your only goal here is to not get consumed. Fun for 11-year-olds, I was bored in like 3 rounds. Some random person joined into this, died, and then left the second that I sent them an introductory yo. I used to hold this game in very high regard as a child, despite it being like a 6 out of 10 game at best. I think after it got hacked, I sort of inflated how good it was in my head. I seriously built this up as a legendary game. I don't know why. Just the memory of how hyped this one was made me kind of excited to try it here, and it did not live up to expectations. I even found a copy of Run in My Games tab, where I added my own avatar in a display case. What a little narcissist this kid was. Now, I was curious as to what the hell happened with this one, because I never actually found out the full story. The creator of this one, Heroes, was hacked by a pretty infamous Roblox figure named Jared Valdez. This name sounded pretty familiar to me, so I went to check out a very reliable source of information, the Roblox Fandom Wiki. This guy's wiki page reads more like a criminal record. It's actually insane. Stolen credit cards, scams, legal threats, plagiarism, and a bunch more. Heroes was actually friends with Jared, and the hack was as simple as Heroes giving Jared his password. Jared then turned Run into what it is today, and kept the account, which was eventually terminated. In this nearly 13-year-old video, Heroes gave his account of what happened, claiming Jared IP hacked his account and got it banned. It ends off with the message, "Jared, if you're watching this, screw you!" And way, way down, at the very bottom of the comment section, was a reply from Jared himself. Who cares? I went to check Jared's YouTube, and he is still posting videos about his Roblox antics like 15 years later. In this one, he was doing an anti-Roblox diss track in light of the somewhat recent controversies surrounding the game. He's also running for a congressional seat in Colorado. The videos promoting his campaign are being posted to the same channel as his epic Roblox troll videos. Skibbity. This is what the youth do. This is what them damn kids do. Let's favorite that. Aura sit. Wow, that's aura. Aura, aura, aura. Aura, aura. Hit the boat, aura farming emote. Is this how you farm it? You rub your belly? Aura dance? Maximum aura farming. Can I search? I need more aura. Aura, aura. Aura, dude, aura. Aura gainer. Aura lean. AFK aura farm. Cold aura farming. Malevolent aura pose. Emperor aura pose. Yo, that's Souther. Souther. I hope people have entirely stopped saying aura by the time this is up. It'd be way funnier. Like if nobody thinks that's a cool word anymore. Are you an enjoyer of aura? Well, have I got the content for you. Go check out the Patreon. We've got some big-time aura videos on there. It is very aura. What was I playing in 2012? Skyrim? Fable 3? Dragon Age? No. Roblox RPGs. I say that like it's a tragic thing, but honestly, this one was alright. It's called The Tales of Range's Cape, and was considered retro even when I started playing. I think that an old friend of mine introduced it to me back then. It's a pretty basic RPG, with levels, quests, and a good amount of bosses. I specifically remember this one teaching me the big difference between wyverns and dragons. Other than that, I don't actually remember anything, except that it was a massive grind. I think I put like 15 hours into this over one weekend when I was like 11, and I don't even think I beat it. Hopping into it nowadays, it seems to generally work fine. I think the owner has done some maintenance to keep it running over the years. Unfortunately, my high-level character from back then wasn't saved. So, we're starting from scratch. Before getting into the grind, though, I had a look around. Just to give you an idea of this game's absurd balancing, I found a boss with almost 600,000 hit points. I was dealing 3 damage at most per hit. Bro is aura farming right now, bro. Dude, bro is literally aura farming right now. I really didn't want to grind this one for 12 hours, so I went looking for cheat codes online. I found a notepad tutorial from 2012 with every code I'd ever need, featuring a Party Rock Anthem remix. See you later. Or smeal you later. Unfortunately, the codes did not work, so it was time for the grind. This game was rough and tough. The Dark Souls of Roblox. After about 7 hours passed, I had managed to grind up to a decent level. I unlocked some capes, found a cool rock and sold it for 50,000 USD, and finished things off with an epic boss battle against the Ice Demon. I took a well-deserved break after this and hopped off for a bit, forgetting to save. All of that progress was completely lost. I had another one of these in my favorites tab that I have no memory of, which was called The Tales of Kidda's Cape. I logged into that one, and it just kind of seemed like a slightly altered version of Range Escape. I was looking around the spawn, and for some reason, this PvP door just being listed as closed, it kind of hit me. When was this last open? 5 years ago? A decade? It doesn't really matter now, as the whole game is inaccessible. One of the greatest uses for Roblox back in the day was to play shitty recreations of various popular horror games, especially in school. SCP, Slender, Amnesia, that kind of stuff. Of course, there was nothing actually stopping us from downloading the real things in most cases, except for a crippling fear of computer viruses. Though that didn't stop us from downloading free ticks and Robux generators after Inspect Elementing, 1,000,000 of each, didn't work. I wanted to see if I could try at least a few of these, but I could not find an old SCP game, because apparently that shit is bigger than ever, at least on Roblox. There were dozens of SCP games with like hundreds, even thousands of people actively in them. We're stuck with the goddamn Slender Man again. I tried out a handful of old Roblox Slender games, and for the most part, they just don't work anymore. You either don't spawn in, he doesn't spawn in, or he's just completely bugging out if he does. On this one, I had to yunt myself down into this big old hole where I just kind of wandered around a spooky science lab. Bro, he's trying to make me sniff his feet. I was trying to find a working old school Slender game, and I gotta say, there is a weird amount of Slender remakes released within like the past couple years on Roblox. And there's no Robloxian twists or anything either. It's actually just remakes of the original. What are you doing, man? That's all it is? All I could think to try at this point was an Amnesia game. Luckily, I had an old one saved in my favorites. Unluckily, this is what remained of it. I can only assume this used to work at some point, or at least had, walls and a floor. One thing that did survive was the So Much Win epic face in the distance. So, that's nice. Obviously, you would be much better off playing modern Roblox clones of these games, or just playing the actual games, but it's still sad that these old ones just do not work anymore. I can only assume this is the case for most old Roblox games. I'd like to end this off by saying, I'm sorry that Slender has crept its way into like half of the videos I've ever made. I am sick of this faceless freak. I don't have a clue what this one is, but it was in my favorites with the description, "Welcome to Zombie Heaven." I guess we're fighting some zombies. Let's go. So this one actually turned out to be a graduation ceremony map. I threw on my outfit and gave my speech.
Guys, it's been such a fucking tough couple of years, and I just gotta say, all you going down to Pound Town after this.
See you later, assholes. Shit. Shit, I can't reach the pedal. Uh-oh, that's embarrassing. I saw another map by this guy, which actually looked cool, which was called My Old HQ, 2008 to 2009. It had like 200 visits, so unless they update this with an age rating, you will never get to play this. This map was a time capsule of a small friend group's personal server in history. A little glimpse into what the Roblox OGs did with their worlds. It started off with a long hallway of all the owners' buddies, with some classic Roblox avatars up on display. These are from the era where the most you could do was put some funny cat memes or epic badass flaming horses on your body. The end of the hall had a friends only room, which I walked into with no issue. I am officially Jeremy 1212's best friend. The actual map consisted of homes for each of his friends, all copy-pasted, and then the owner's home. I broke in and had a look around. There were some books in here just labeled grade 12, so I have to assume that's about what grade they were in when this was made. Probably. There was also a picture of what I'd assume was their real-life dog, as well as a lamp.
The number for today is 8.
Overall, this was a nice little look back into an authentic classic Roblox map, and I may have just been its final ever visitor. You will never be able to play most of these ever again. In the midst of this video's production, I received an email from a mysterious source. This contained a link to a game called Gears, with the sender recommending that I play it. As I hadn't announced anywhere that I was doing a Roblox video, this was quite a freaky coincidence, and I had to try this out. This is one from just over 6 years ago, which had a decent amount of visits, but it was dead empty now. Honestly, it really added to the atmosphere. You start this one off in a big monochromatic hub world. This hub then branches off into different themed levels, all of which were very surreal, dreamlike, and weird. It is just Roblox Zoommmbiieeesss. That's what this is. There's no beating around the bush. I started off in a pure white wasteland world, which had infinitely rising pillars and a thick fog enveloping the entire map. It also had a soundscape which sounded like a super Paul-stretched song. It all came together to give this one a pretty solid atmosphere, especially for a Roblox game. I wandered the wastes, and every few minutes found an object which I could touch, giving me a little jingle each time. Way out at the very edge of the map, I noticed a small bulge on the side of the world. I jumped down and found a very hidden NPC thing, which said it had been down here for thousands of years, all alone. I listened to its tale and continued. After about 20 minutes, I found all the items and unlocked the next area. I received an axe, chopped down some roots, and freed a crying baby from its cage. I didn't really know what to do after this, so I gently introduced my axe to the infant's skull, and the game cut to black and didn't continue. I don't think I was supposed to do that. I took a look at some of the other worlds as well, and each of them had a very unique and distinct theme. One was a big floating city full of sky islands, another was a desert with a tomb, and there was even an industrial district named I Heart Vampire Boys. It really is just Roblox Zoommmbiieeesss. That's not a joke. One of the best parts about this wasn't even an actual part of the game. They had a whole section of the hub world dedicated to community stuff, like fan art and screenshots. And there was a shit ton of things to see here. Drawings, sketches, even actual paintings, and 3D printed characters from the game. It was really cool to see, even if I honestly didn't really understand most of the references to stuff in the game. The screenshot room was equally as interesting. There were a bunch of pictures in here of full lobbies and massive groups of people exploring this together. I don't think this gets many visitors nowadays, so this was neat to see. I always love finding pictures of empty games being fully populated. It gives you a glimpse into a community that once was. A sliver of life in an otherwise dead world. Honestly, I have no idea how this one only has like 500,000 visits with how insane modern Roblox numbers are. There are games with tens of billions of visits. Overall, this is a very cool game though. I'd recommend checking it out if it looked interesting to you. I'm pretty sure I barely scratched the surface of what there is to see here. I found an absurd amount of destroy shit games in my favorites tab. If you showed Teardown to 11-year-old me, I'd shit myself. From what I remember, these were decently popular, but not a massive thing. Most of them are broken now, with the tools you're given no longer functioning. They were mostly maps about destroying popular characters like Noobs, Guests, Barney, and Dora. I'm honestly in shock that I didn't find a Destroy Justin Bieber map while doing this. I did find a 16-year-old video of someone destroying SpongeBob in a bunch of ways, which was neat. Probably my favorite of these maps was Roblox HQ, which had these two identical towers. You could even call them twins, being destroyed. This one was still working, and was incredibly laggy. The actual FPS was fine, but the game itself could not keep up. Even with the lag, I was having a blast blowing at the bits. That was until one of the guys in here pulled out a thermonuclear bomb, and it was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's doing it again. Stop dropping nukes. Please. Please put the nuke down. Oh no. Can I ultra kill Rocket Ride? He did it again. He dropped another nuke. Whoa, 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 whoa! I'd like the nuke, please. Oh my god. I think the server's gonna crash. Oh no. Let's crash these children's games. One of them already left. Zombie Tower is another one like Run, which I remember really liking, and it had a similar fate as it frequently broke or went down. Lucky for me, the original was still up. Nice. Not so lucky for me, the zombies don't work. That's kind of a major part of Zombie Tower. Pretty much everything else still functioned though, so I had to walk through these halls of memories. It had its iconic Shadow of the Colossus music playing in the background, which instantly makes anything at least 70% better. Normally, you'd have a full squad shooting its way through the tower. Now, it was just me. As I was going through this, a lot of the zombies were standing in place, bouncing up and down, like they were jumping for joy at my grand return. Even without having to fight anything, I was having a blast going through this again, one final time. And on the penultimate floor of the tower, just before reaching the top, the grand conclusion, I was blasted by an IED strapped to a zombie's chest, killing me instantly. What? There's a few copies and remakes of this that actually work, but I had seen enough. None were really what I remembered. Not because they were worse, but the opposite. They weren't shitty enough. I found an old-ass video by the dev, which best represents how I remember it being. 15 FPS, super blocky, and very jank. Heli-Wars. Apparently at one point this was the most popular game on Roblox. Nowadays it was just me and some random child that I 1v1'd for a few minutes.
We 13, fucking 14 maybe? Was it your birthday? Is it your birthday, little boy? Idiot. Fucking idiot. Stupid motherfucker. I left. I bullied a little boy.
It's a pretty simple game, being capture the flag, with some vehicles you can use to get to the other base. Despite the simplicity, this used to be absolutely popping off. Packed servers, intense dogfights, and endless battles. I found a 15-year-old video of this game in its prime. Look how crazy this was. There are 13-year-old comments on this 15-year-old video saying that this was the golden age. Unfortunately, the original version was pretty much completely busted. You can't even fly the helicopters. Thankfully, someone stole it one-to-one and fixed everything. So I've got a working version to show off. And I gotta say, I kinda popped off and went gamer mode on these literal children.
Yeah!
Oh! It's all about the strafing. These kids suck so much. Oh! Nobody else got a single kill.
Now, I used to play this game a shitload. I stayed up playing it until like 4 AM on a school night one time. Me and a buddy even started a YouTube channel specifically to make machinimas on this. Some Roblox Black Hawk Down type shit, which we did not end up doing even a single time.
Roblox. An interaction.
Stuff's just falling apart around this place. Somebody's got a fucking... Somebody's here. What the fuck? Science. Edmund! Stop! Stop! Why? Stop! Doing abdomen! Bruh! Get out!
What?
Leave!
Why? Why are you even here? In this 2008 game?
Bruh.
Build to Survive the Zombies was one of the most popular games on the platform when I played. And from my brief experience on the modern website, it looks like its influences still felt to this day. There were numerous clickbait Build to Survive games with thousands of active players, and total play counts at least 10 times higher than this one. To be fair though, even back then this game had countless clones. I even found one of my favorites called Build to Survive Guest. Unfortunately, the iconic original BTSTZ no longer works properly, as you can't build anything. Hopping into a fixed version, you know what this one is, I don't have to explain this. You build to survive the zombies.
Flying zombies. Oh, you shitting me. Oh no.
I was always a fan of zombie survival games like this because they reminded me of a machinima that I used to really like, which I somehow managed to track down. It's Kino. This famous film starts off with a pretty sick Windows Movie Maker intro, and then cuts to President Obama's office. Time, 0300 hours. Obama was inside playing a little Xbox Live when he received a phone call about zombies having taken over parts of the country. He didn't really care, as he was busy playing Heli-Wars, and then he died. The Secretary of Defense then heads over to the HQ of the best zombie hunters in the world and hires them on to kill the Zombie King. It's a very goofy video, but it's great. You can tell it's just a bunch of kids having a good time and making a dumb story. And it's executed pretty decently for 2009. One of my favorite parts about this is the chat, where you can see the director saying shit like, lights, camera, action, in every scene. It's a classic video. Would recommend. 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. The Underground War. I don't remember playing this one very much, but apparently I had the VIP t-shirt for it. So, I must have been a big fan. I also don't think VIP shirts work anymore, as I received no goodies. I want my money back. The game is pretty basic, having two teams duke it out, with the catch on this one being that you've got to dig. It's an underground war. As you'd guess, this one was basically nothing without other people. I didn't even bother digging to the other base. I did see that there's a game called The Underground War 2 by a completely different person, which has like 750 million visits, completely eclipsing the original. From the screenshots, it just looks like this one, but more modernized and monetized. Swordfight on the Heights is a truly iconic, classic Roblox game. I used to play it a bit, but was never that big of a fan. I do love the atmosphere of it though. Really, I was just here now for some extra footage, as it's not exactly dead. It was such a weird experience though, that I felt I had to include it here. The game itself has remained basically unchanged from its launch in 2008, but it still has people dropping by, if only for a minute or two. It's like a Roblox rite of passage. When I first got here, a group of 3 were in the middle of an intense battle. One of them accused the 2 others of teaming, calling one of the 2 a simp and a loser. All 3 of them left shortly after. It was now just me and another duelist, who I went to have a chat with. Immediately following my introductory yo, they responded with, "I'm an AI, come chat with me." They then said, "Joking," and didn't respond to any further questions. After this was a constant influx of people, most of which stayed for no longer than a minute. A few of these people were also saying the same AI line as the first guy. I assume it's some dumb Roblox meme. A little bit later, a character named :3spam joined in, who was filling up the chat with OWO-style dialogue, instantly responding to every message, teleporting around, and doing this iconic little dance. I think that this was actually an AI bot, and now because of that, I have no idea if any of these people were real. They probably were, but you know. Welcome to the town of Robloxia used to be the most popular game on the site. When I got here, there was one person. We exchanged pleasantries, and they instantly left. This very quickly became the ghost town of Robloxia. I did a little exploration of Roblox Silent Hill until I noticed a roleplay option to be a baby/toddler, which I swapped over to. Someone else joined in, so naturally, I went to stalk them as a creepy baby. Unfortunately for me, they flew away into the fog. After this was a little crime spree. I stole a news van, because how would they report on that, and wrapped it around a tree. I then got in my famous 1997 Ford F-150 and started running people down in the streets. The cops were after me, people were begging me to stop, bombs were being dropped, and I was being threatened with imprisonment. I mega jumped away, escaping a lifetime behind bars. I then broke into someone's house, who had been role-playing as a student doing their homework this entire time, and was stabbed to death at the dinner table. A real famous genre on Roblox was build a ship and sail it down a dangerous river type maps. I'm pretty sure it still is a popular map type, with a few of the recent ones having a billion visits. This one is from 2009, and I guess I've played it before, as I had some badges from it. Let me start off by saying that I absolutely adore the water textures on this map. They are all just crusty, stretched JPEGs of water, lava, and slime covering a flat brick. There was like zero effort to make this look good. I didn't really do too much building in this. I spawned in the basic starter ship, threw some bullshit onto it, and I was off. This might be the meta, as I made it through pretty much the entire map with this setup, although that may have just been my excellent maneuvering and thoughtful sailing skills. My odyssey concluded when I died to a bountiful amount of bouncy balls bouncing in my beautiful face. And I was not going to do that again because it was actually like 10 minutes of slowly floating down a water PNG. But I wasn't done with this one just yet. Near the spawn I found a teleporter to a picture gallery. This was host to a ton of images of people's ships they built in like 2009 to 2011. A lot of these screenshots have Windows Vista and even XP taskbars, just to give you an idea of how old these are. I spent about as much time here as I did in the actual game. It was pretty cool seeing all these old screenshots. I wonder where these gamers are now. Still sailing the 7 seas? We'll likely never know. Hidden object games used to be a pretty big thing on Roblox. They might still be, for all I know. With that said, I highly doubt Find the Trolls and Nyan Cats gets much action these days. One of the classics in my favorites tab was one called Find the Domos. Getting into this one, I actually have no idea how I didn't find some of these when I was a dumb, stupid idiot boy. They are ridiculously easy to collect. I amassed a solid collection of different themed silly domos, and for some reason my guy was just being a dick to the ones that I could talk to.
I'm burning! Help! Help!
That's unfortunate. Hello. This place is awful. Why are you so stupid? Excuse me?
You.
It is a bit strange that this one is completely empty. You'd think it'd still have a few stragglers hanging around, picking up some domos, seeing as it has almost 7 million total visits, but it was just me the entire time.
Hello, fine sir. How may I help you? Farts. You're not worthy of my presence today.
I feel another one.
Now this one is far from dead. In fact, it is without a doubt the biggest one here. It had like 17,000 people active in it, and honestly I couldn't believe that. I had to see what was up. What I ended up finding was basically the exact same game as when I was younger. Like, I don't even think they added any maps to this, or anything. In case you aren't one of this game's 3.7 billion visits, natural disaster survival has you surviving natural disasters. It's very straightforward. It's got a handful of maps, and each one spawns everyone into them with a random disaster set to imminently occur. Sometimes it's a tsunami, a tornado, or even a meteor shower. It's kinda cool.
Bro, aura! Look at that aura!
I really wasn't kidding when I said that it was basically unchanged though. Like, I saw a duplicate map in effect, and I was only here for like 6 rounds. You'd think with how popular this is, there'd be like 100 maps and disasters. One thing they did add was the ability to watch an ad to get the famous natural disaster survival Blue Hammer. And you know, I had to get my grubby little mitts on one of them. Anyways, I was completely cracked at this game. Probably one of the greatest players to ever touch it. I won pretty much every single round at the top of the scoreboard. No items, no cheat codes, no hacks, just pure skill and raw talent. A true prodigy of natural disaster survival.
Let's go.
This one was fun, but it's kind of going against the title of the video to continue playing it. I ended things off by having a fun little interaction with a kid playing in VR.
You stay down, motherfucker. You stay down.
Obstacle course maps, known on Roblox as Obbies, are one of the biggest genres on the entire site. There are thousands of these, which have been present throughout the game's entire lifespan. I played a handful because pretty much all of the old ones are completely forgotten, at least from what I've seen. This one, called 2009's classic Longest Obby, was probably the best representation of your average old Roblox obstacle course. Annoying jump puzzles, more annoying jump puzzles, and ridiculously easy, impossible to fail jump puzzles. It was also barren, not a soul in sight. At least this one works properly though, which is probably the case for most old Roblox obbies. These are kind of hard to break with updates. I also had Escape from McDonald's obby in my favorites tab. Ron the Don is out to get ya. This was a more accurate representation of old Roblox obbies. Kinda terrible, borderline impossible to complete puzzles, and also incredibly short. Despite all that, this had 2.3 million visits, and it'll likely stay there for a while, as this has been made inaccessible. Not even shitty old Roblox obbies are safe from the Great Restriction. In this one, you get crushed by a speeding wall. This is another one which really isn't dead, but I used to play it a ton, so it's going in. It is pretty far past its prime though, from what I can tell. To give you an idea of when this one was big, one of the disasters you've got to survive is PewDiePie, and it's just a giant bro fist. I started off with a few items in this one, which I thought was normal, but then I saw the advertisement to buy this game's VIP pass, which includes those items. I spent real money on this game, I guess. I played for a bit, survived a few disasters, drank some epic sauce, and relived classic memories of this map. It then changed to an office, and the song was actually giving me a headache, so I had to swap servers.
Holy shit, this is hurting my brain. Shut up.
It's pretty cool to see that today's youth still enjoy the games that I used to play when I was a little fiend. Hopefully one day their sons and daughters will also be able to enjoy the primetime entertainment that is Survive the Disasters on Roblox.com.
It's called Aura. You stand here and you just don't even get hit.
So back when I was a lad, for some reason the Titanic was having a massive resurgence. And not the movie, the actual shipwreck. Now it could have just been my school, probably not, but there was a bunch of kids I knew who were obsessed with it. This was in like 2012, by the way. Maybe this is still a thing. I don't know. I don't associate with 10-year-olds. A big part of this phenomena was playing on Roblox Titanic maps, which I guess are still doing pretty well. Weirdly well, even. There were hundreds of people here. I got into this one post-iceberg, so everyone was just sprinting around screaming that we were all gonna die. This guy up front made it very clear that he had to get to New York. I dunked a lifeboat into the ocean, like an Oreo cookie in milk, and I was out of there. I had a very lovely view of this real-world tragedy in my lifeboat that no man, woman, or child will step foot in. It's mine. I watched that shit sink into the drink, and as the music kicked in, it was kind of beautiful.
I call this one riding the deck. Watch this. Riding the deck right on up. So we call that in the biz.
With the Titanic fully sunk, I avoided the second iceberg in our path and was off to New York City.
Jack, I'm flying.
Someone had 15,912 survivals on Roblox Titanic. Each round lasts like 30 minutes, by the way. That is over 300 days of Roblox Titanic. A similarly popular type of vehicular disaster map on Roblox was plane crash maps.
That's not good. That's not good. I go to the drinks. No, my Ninja Turtle skateboard. Whoa.
Oh. That's fucking easy.
I don't know why natural disasters were such a huge thing for Roblox devs back in like 2010. I guess they are pretty badass. Like most other disaster games, Disaster Hotel has you surviving a bunch of natural disasters. Unlike the others, I'm pretty sure this one is entirely scripted and the same stuff happens every time. It burns to a crisp and then a flood puts out the flames. As long as you're on the roof, you'll be fine, until it gets nuked. It also has a cute little hotel status indicator at the bottom, as well as a story playing out to explain why everything is happening. It's a nice day today, isn't it? 030, I shall call my noob friends to come here with a boat. : DDDD. Oh, here they come. Points at the horizon. ZOMG, my girl, their goat is on fire. Gah! Capital O_O. This is one I remember being pretty big back in the day, but unlike a lot of other pretty big games from back then, this one was dead empty. It is pretty buggy though, with the old code clearly not working all that well. It just keeps getting slower the longer it goes on. This legit goes down to like 4 FPS after a while. I kinda had to just leave this one before it was even halfway done. I felt bad for it. This is another one I played a fair bit as a kid. It was basically Roblox Battlefield with jets, battleships, and a huge war zone to fight in. The kinda nuts part about this one is that it has received continuous support for the past 16 years and is still actively updated. That's more support than most AAA games get. You've got to respect the dedication. I used to be at the top of most scoreboards with my 750 kills, but now I was absolutely dwarfed by a couple god gamers on the server. Two of the people here had 45,000 kills each. It seems that over the years my big number has become increasingly small. I am nothing. These gamers lived up to the hype as well. The guy on the other team was just absolutely destroying us with his tactical strategy of jumping out of a jet, shooting us while midair, and landing back in the jet to fly away. He was going absolutely nuts. I find it interesting that this one has maintained a bit of a player base. It's not too many people. There used to be thousands, but there's still at least a handful on at any given time. I was almost certain that this would have been made completely obsolete by more modern and advanced games. With all that said, after the updates, this is basically a different game compared to what I played way back when. I looked into some videos from around 2011 to show what I remember. This one here was by the creator, where they proclaim through annotations that they are quite good at sniping, :3, XDDDD. I also found a review by the famous Kevinator1313, which was classic YouTube. Notepad narration, terrible quality, and zero editing. At one point during this, the kid's older brother comes into the room and breaks his gamer concentration, resulting in his demise.
No way.
You know, ow!
What?
Look what you made me do!
I didn't do anything.
Some of the earliest games I have favorited on Roblox are ones which were made purely to showcase cool buildings people made. Art maps, basically. I don't really remember actually playing these, but they've been saved here for a long, long time. I guess I was a connoisseur of fine arts back when I was a little scumbag. The first one of these I tried was an airship map called Liberté de la Liberté. It was like a sky hotel with suites, common areas, a big steering wheel, and actually not much else because it was unfinished. Still, what was here was cool, especially for when it was released. I thought this trophy they had set up on the shelf here was just a prop, but looking into it, it's an actual award they won at the official Roblox Game Conference in 2012, which it received for excellence in construction. It looks like it was quite a tough choice between this and Warrior Cats, which came in second place. A few other games we've looked at today were also up for awards at the 2012 conference, such as Base Wars, Survive the Disasters, and Range's Cape, but none were winners except for this one. I do find it kinda nuts that a few of the games which were runners-up in this competition, an officially held Roblox competition, are currently restricted. Another art map I had saved was one called Lando's Apartment. It was a pretty cool looking place, located at 1337 Leet Street. The first thing I did was give the doorbell a ring. Inside, it was mostly a bunch of static props like this iPod, these glue kitties, as well as a bunch of artwork and screenshots of what I assume to be Lando's friends, or Lando themselves. Lining your apartment's walls with giant pictures of just yourself would be kind of a sicko thing to do though, so I assume it's the former. It was pretty cool overall, but there really wasn't much else to see here, aside from a few tiny Easter eggs around the map, such as Chuck Norris being on the naughty list. I gotta say, maps from this era, especially this one, have really strange atmospheres that are super unique to Roblox specifically. They're from the early 2010s, but some of these maps look straight out of games like Active Worlds, especially things like the lights, which are just yellow spheres, the booger foliage, as well as the blurry, low-quality skybox of a city which surrounds the entire map. It's very charming. I'm a big fan. This one is kind of an odd one, because it's not about dead Roblox games, or old games, or nostalgic games, but games that do not function anymore, either partially or entirely. During my time revisiting this and looking at old games I used to play, a solid chunk of them were broken, didn't work without people, or completely shut down. It sucked because I specifically remembered a few of these and wanted to try them again. They weren't tiny little baby games that no one's ever heard of either. Some of them had tens of millions of visits, but since no one plays them anymore, they never actually begin. There were also numerous games which relied on features that have been long abandoned by Roblox, making them playable, but only in the sense that you can walk around the map. While it is nice to be able to walk around these old worlds, it's a shame that they don't function properly. Now, it'd probably be a massive pain in the ass to continue supporting the old tech that made these work, but Roblox is such a massive company that I think they could have managed. One of the most interesting broken games I found was one in my favorites tab that I have no recollection of. It's called Zombie Defense 1, from all the way back in 2009. It actually got updated in 2021, just to change the description. Hasn't worked for years. Here for posterity. Thanks for the memories. Loading into it, the guy really wasn't kidding. This shit was broken. I was able to freely explore this world frozen in time, and it was a unique experience. All that's left of a lot of games like these are crusty old YouTube videos, the remnants of what still functions in them, and memories. And like a lot of what we've looked at today, almost all of these broken games have been completely shut down for an indefinite amount of time. And if I were to make a prediction, I highly doubt they'll be coming back anytime soon. And that's it. We're done. Finished. Even if I wanted to do more, at this point it's simply too late for a lot of games. Unless these developers come back after like 15 years of inactivity to give their game an age rating, they will be locked off for the foreseeable future. And pretty much every old personal world, like that HQ map we looked at, will be closed for good. I looked at a few games made by people I knew in real life back then, and they're gone now. These revisits were a very odd experience to me. Honestly, if not for the shutdown, I don't know if I'd have gone through with this video. While it was neat to see some of these old games again, I didn't really feel much of anything here. I had fun, sure, but nothing deeper, aside from finding some messages from people I haven't seen in almost 15 years. I've discussed this a few times on the channel, but I weirdly feel almost no connection or nostalgia to massive games that I liked when I was a kid, and this was no exception. With Roblox though, I think I know what the issue was, and it boils down to one simple thing. This isn't the game I played when I was a kid. That Roblox is long gone, and it has been for many years. It's the fucking way she goes. And with this video behind me, I am never, not even for a single second during the rest of my time on this earth, playing Roblox ever again. Probably. If you've got suggestions for Roblox games, leave them, but no promises on a part 2 to this. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thanks for checking it out, and be sure to check out the Patreon for some swaggerific bonus videos. Have a great day.